in the office today of Dr. Bruce Ayers, who is the president of the Southeast Kentucky Community and Technical College. And we want to welcome Dr. Ayers to this interview. And Dr. Ayers, we want to thank you for giving us your time this morning, and we appreciate you being here.
Well, Marshall, I'm delighted to be able to talk with you a little about leadership. And let me begin by saying that I certainly don't have all of the answers. And what you'll hear, I think, from me today is I've probably learned more on the job than I learned in college. I don't want your professor to take that the wrong way, but leadership, I think, is something that evolves over time. There's no question about that. I certainly have changed some of what I thought was important as I've gone along, but I'm delighted to have the opportunity to share what little I know with you.
Let me start with the first question, and why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your career path, and some decisions that you've made to get you where you are.
Sure. Well, I grew up in eastern Kentucky. I actually grew up in Bell County, not too far from here, and tried to make a decision early on about whether I should go to college or whether I should go into the Marine Corps. And it so happened that my next-door neighbor was a Marine Corps recruiter. And, of course, he had great influence on my deciding to go into the Marine Corps. So I went in the Marine Corps in the early 1960s and spent about 3 years and 8 months there before I got out to actually come to college. I initially came to college thinking that I would major in history and go into the law. I really wanted to be a lawyer. I remember having read a book by Louis Nizer called My Life in Court, which influenced me tremendously. But when I came to college, and I came here, I came to Southeast. It was part of the University of Kentucky then, and that was kind of intriguing for me. But started taking literature courses and really became enthralled with English literature and changed my major. And went on to the university to get a bachelor's in English and a master's in English. Then I came to work here in about, I guess, 1969 as the assistant director of Upward Bound, which was a program for students from low-income families that had the capacity, we thought, to do college work but might not go unless we intervened in their lives. Held that position for a number of years. Then I became the director of Upward Bound and Special Services. And then made a decision to go back, and at that particular point in time, having provided leadership for Upward Bound and Special Services, I kind of liked the leadership role. And so rather than teaching, as I had been doing at Southeast, in addition to my work with Upward Bound, I decided that I wanted to go into leadership on a full-time basis. So I went to East Tennessee State University and got a doctorate in educational leadership with an emphasis on higher education. And I had already worked here at that time about 20 years, and I was selected then, after I got the doctorate, as the director of the college. They did not call us presidents then. That was in February of 1987, and I have been here ever since.
So basically in your early career you hadn't really decided to be in this position, but it was kind of through the process of life that it led you down a different path to get here where you are.
You're exactly right. I started out in one direction and ended up, I guess, in an entirely different arena. But that's part of life, paying attention to where you think the Lord is leading you, and I have been influenced by the Lord Jesus Christ throughout my life. In fact, I will tell you, and I think I've told you before, that Philippians 4:13 is my favorite verse in the Bible, and it says, in one form or another, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. And I think that means, too, that we really are attuned to the guidance that the Lord can provide. And I really believe that, there's a will for our lives, and sometimes we have to work to discern what that will is. And on some occasions, unfortunately, when we discern it, we head off in another direction. But I really think I'm doing the Lord's work. And I look on on my job each and every day as something which is compatible with Christian principles and is consistent with what the Lord would have me do.
If you were to define leadership, what would be your definition?
Well, I've thought a lot about that, and rather than defining leadership, I think I would define a leader. And I've kind of written some things down here. It's someone who is honest and truthful and works to create a shared vision for the organization, followed by a clear communication of the vision and the eliciting of support to make that vision a reality. And I said some very important things there. You have to be honest and you have to have integrity if you're a leader. Now, you can get by for a season or two, perhaps without being honest and without having integrity, but people will find you out and